I'm so happy you're here. It feels good to be back after a couple of weeks away. If you're new here, welcome. This space is for everyone who loves watercolor or just needs a break from the hectic pace of life. I am really grateful to have you join our little community. And to all my returning friends, thank you so much for being part of this wonderful space. Before we begin, I want to let you know that all the supplies I'll be using today are listed in the video description below. That way you can follow along or try out the techniques with your own supplies. Today we are going to paint a sunset from my recent trip to the Grand Canyon. Not only will we explore watercolor techniques, but I'll also show you some unconventional approaches using brushes typically used for oil and acrylic painting. It's amazing how we can use basically any painting tool available when it comes to watercolors. But this session is about more than just art. The past few weeks have been challenging for me personally, and I've been carrying something on my mind that I've shared with none of you until now. It's been a time of reflection, gratitude and healing, and I'm excited to share it with you today. So grab your brushes if you are ready to paint along, or just grab a cup of warm beverage, get comfortable, and let's get started. As I reflect on our trip to the Grand Canyon, I am overwhelmed with warmth and gratitude. This trip was truly unforgettable, sharing it with my family under the cold April skies. The intermittent snowfall painted the canvas of the canyon in hues and textures that I never could have imagined. The weather may have been chilly, but it created scenes so breathtaking that they felt like a gift. I've had the privilege of visiting the Grand Canyon before, but this time felt like a new experience altogether. The vastness and beauty of this natural wonder have a way of reawakening the senses. When we first arrived to the south rim, catching the last rays of the sun as they danced upon the peaks, it left me in awe. The emotions that poured in during those moments are what I hope to capture in today's painting. As you watch this piece come together, you might notice that it doesn't strictly reflect reality. Instead, it's an expression of the peace and awe that this incredible place inspired in me. I hope that as we work through this watercolor together, you'll feel a bit of that magic too. As we explore this painting together, I also hope that you might feel inspired to pick up your own art supplies and give drawing or painting a try. For me, this session is as much about sharing the story behind this piece as it is about the techniques I've learned so far. As a self-taught artist, I believe that creativity is something we all have inside us. And I hope that by sharing my experiences, I can help inspire you in some way. For me, it was chronic pain that became the catalyst for reevaluating my path in life. Dealing with rheumatoid arthritis has taught me the importance of listening to my body and embracing gentleness within myself. This experience has been a constant learning process to stay true to my heart even when the road ahead isn't easy. And honestly, life as an artist requires a lot of hard work, resilience, and dedication. Yet for me, this is a labor of love.
vitamins and history books, psychology and a different way to look at it all. 'Cause my perspective is broken. If suffering's a way to earn your keep, I better start putting miles on my feet. But I'm so tired of wandering. Yeah, I'm lost, but I'm living. Yeah, I'm lost. Can I be forgiven? I thought by now pain would be my friend. I know that discomfort was a means to an end, but I'm lying in a warm bed. No, I'm lost, but I'm living. No, I'm lost. Can I be forgiven? Claustrophobic and comfortable, I smother myself in what I know. I'm claustrophobic and comfortable, I smother myself in what I know. Yeah, I'm lost, but I'm living. No, I'm lost. Can I be forgiven? Can I be forgiven myself in what I know?
Our sky is slowly coming to life. It almost feels like magic sometimes. As you've seen, we use just 3 colors to capture the sky and clouds: yellow ochre, Mary Lake red light, and ultramarine blue. These colors are essentially our primary yellow, red, and blue, which mix to form gray. To begin, we pre-wetted the paper where the sky would be, then loaded our brush with yellow ochre and applied it in a directional manner to suggest cloud movement. Immediately after, we added Mary Lake red on top, followed by ultramarine blue. By mixing these colors directly on paper, we avoid creating a dull premixed gray on the palette. I believe this technique yields a more vibrant and dynamic result. This method, however, is suited more for experienced watercolorists, as it requires a good sense of how much paint to load on the brush and how prepared the paper should be. The key takeaway is to ensure that the paint on your brush is more concentrated than the water on the paper. Additionally, let the water soak into the paper fibers just enough that you can still see a slight sheen. Once the sheen starts to disappear, it's a cue to gently apply more moisture with the brush or a water sprayer to revive the area, or just leave it alone until it dries fully. This technique is known as wet on wet, which involves applying wet paint onto wet surface, Practice is crucial here. Take your time to experiment and develop a feel for when and how much pigment to apply. With practice, you'll grow more confident in achieving the results you desire. As you watch, I continue moving the paint down using variations of yellow, red and blue until the entire paper is filled with color. When I transition to the canyon and foreground areas, my brush strokes become more free-flowing and loose. The key here is to keep that wet, alive pigment flowing downwards, ensuring we cover the entire paper without forming hard edges. This technique not only helps avoid harsh lines but also creates a captivating sense of atmosphere and sense of depth. It's particularly fitting for capturing a sunset at the Grand Canyon, where the landscape is bathed in a kaleidoscope of yellows, reds and oranges. In contrast, the canyon areas are shrouded in shadow, which I've chosen to depict using violets and grey blues. And along the sides, you'll see me suggest greenery. The Utah juniper is among the most prevalent tree species along the Rim Trail, contributing beautifully to the landscape in Grand Canyon. paper is fully dry, let's move on to strengthening our scene by adding richer, more vibrant layers. You'll see me switch from using a size 3 calligraphy brush to size 3 mop brush to size 12 round synthetic brush. They will help me refine the canyon and its summits, which are visible from the south rim. These brushes are good for these tasks, as they can hold plenty of paint, allowing me to create smooth, continuous strokes without needing to reload often. And the variety of strokes one can create with a simple calligraphy brush is limitless, so it seems to me. As I paint the second layer, I'd like to revisit something I mentioned earlier, how my mind was preoccupied during our trip to the Grand Canyon. As I share this personal story, I want to acknowledge that it may touch on themes that could be sensitive or difficult for some of you. In the following moments, I will be discussing topics related to cancer. Please know that you are free to step back or pause the video if you feel it might be too much for you today. I greatly appreciate your understanding. Okay, less than a month ago, I had a routine mammography that showed some unexpected findings, prompting me to schedule an advanced mammography promptly after our return from the trip. And naturally, my thoughts were filled with what-ifs. Despite trying to set them aside, I couldn't help but wonder about the possibilities. What if I had early-stage cancer? How would treatments affect me with my existing health challenges? How would my family react? How would I handle sharing this news with my son? Surprisingly, some consistent themes emerged in my thoughts. I realized that no matter the diagnosis, it wouldn't change who I am at the core. I knew I would fight to get better, cherish every moment, and continue to show up for my family as much as I could physically do. And most importantly, I vowed to keep painting for you and for me. This experience put everything into perspective. It reminded me of what truly matters in my life and solidified the foundation upon which I stand today. No breaking news or external drama can shake me from this foundation. This week was filled with anticipation and uncertainty as I awaited for results of my advanced mammography. Thankfully, those results came back negative, and I'm incredibly relieved and grateful for that. The experience, though challenging, has taught me profound lessons about staying true to myself and others. Moments like this often prompt us to reflect on what truly matters in life, our relationships, our passions, and the time we have. We realize that every day is a chance to reconnect with our purpose and appreciate the beauty around us. For me, this event has reinforced the importance of living in the present, cherishing moments with loved ones, and pursuing what brings us joy. I also want to take this opportunity to emphasize the importance of regular health screenings, because early detection is important in managing health challenges like cancer, making it more treatable. Please remember to prioritize your health and take advantage of these screenings. And to those who have been or are currently affected by cancer, I extend my deepest support and understanding. I wish I could wrap each of you in a warm embrace and offer solace in any way I can. Though I may not be there physically, I hope that this painting, inspired by the breathtaking beauty of Grand Canyon, can bring you some peace and joy today. You've seen me defining the cliffs closer to us using more saturated color mixes. I varied the hues to highlight crevices and added touches of green to suggest evergreen trees like Utah junipers. As you notice, I'm primarily working with the wet on dry technique here, applying wet paint onto dry paper. As some of you may notice, I'm switching to a frontal view very often. This wasn't entirely planned, but sometimes life just happens. During the excitement of painting, I forgot to pin my hair back, and it ended up blocking a lot of the overhead views for me. I only noticed this when I started editing the videos, and I couldn't help but laugh at how it kept getting in the way. Another upside of this view is that you might catch a glimpse of Eddie napping beside me. He is such a beautiful, gentle, loving pup, and I often wonder who is more Velcro being, me or him. I adore him dearly, and I'm sure many of you know that by now. Please don't worry, I'll switch back to the overhead views whenever I think you need to see more details of my painting process and not just my hair. Thank you for your understanding, and I hope this adds a bit of humor to our session. Maybe next time I'll remember to secure my hair before we start. You've seen me use brushes typically intended for oil or acrylic painting during this session. I always keep them handy because I like the way they feel and how they interact with watercolors. After years of experience with watercolor, I've become accustomed to experimenting with any brush that crosses my path, just to see what unique effect it can bring to my work. Similarly, I enjoy exploring different surfaces to paint on, from wood to steel to plastic. Each one offers a unique way to experience how watercolors sit and behave. While exploration is essential, I've come to prefer traditional white or natural white watercolor paper, because it allows the true potential of watercolors to shine through. I also recently experimented with watercolor ground, but I have to admit that I didn't quite like it. I found it too heavy as a medium, altering the way my watercolors lay down on the surface. Perhaps I'll revisit them at another time to see if a different approach yields better results. I also experimented with different types of watercolors, everything from Crayola watercolors to academic grade and, of course, artist grade. What I found is that I definitely enjoy using all of them, each for their unique qualities. While I primarily work with artist grade watercolors, I think it would be interesting to create a video where I paint the same scene using various grades of watercolor paints. This way you can see firsthand how different materials can affect the final results. As you can see, I'm working on the foreground tree now. And in a few moments, I'll show you more views of beautiful Grand Canyon, and we all can take a little break.
All right, our next stop, Hopi Point. Now, Hopi Point's where you get the first view of the Colorado River. There's also restrooms located over there.
That one goes down to the Colorado River. You can see from here. And now I would like to talk about the plants one can see in Grand Canyon National Park. The desert landscape can seem harsh, but it's surprising how much life it harbors. This tree, for example, would be right at home in the Kaibab National Forest. The forest is named after the Kaibab Formation, which is one of the rock layers visible in the canyon. The Kaibab Forest is a fascinating blend of ecosystems. It features a mix of pines, including ponderosa pines and pinon pines, as well as Utah junipers, like the ones I've been depicting in this painting. This region is unique because it supports an incredible array of plant life, despite its desert-like conditions. people can find everything from scrubby brushes and grasses to majestic trees that provide shelter and habitat for the area's wildlife. And one of the remarkable things about the Grand Canyon area is the way different elevations and microclimates create pockets of diverse vegetation. In the more arid parts, cacti like prickly pear and cholla dominate the landscape, while higher elevations support dense forests and wildflowers during springtime. And as I move on to laying the shadows and defining shapes with the darkest of darks, you can see how I'm using muted green grays to capture the flat areas of the canyon, which was how they appeared to me that day. For the canyon drops and shadow, I've opted for deep purple grays, which help convey the depth and mystery of those areas. When I first thought about what to paint for this video, I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the grandeur and beauty of the Grand Canyon. How could I possibly capture the sheer scale and majesty of this natural wonder on paper? It felt like an impossible task to me. But as I told myself, all I can do is try, and maybe next time I'll do better. Perhaps one day I'll be able to capture just a glimpse of the incredible vastness and beauty of this place. And for now, I hope that this place conveys even a small part of the awe and inspiration I felt standing at the edge of the canyon. As we bring this painting session to a close, I want to reflect on the time we've shared today, both the art and the story behind it. From the breathtaking sunset of the Grand Canyon to the personal challenges I faced, it's been an emotional and creative ride. I hope that through this video you've caught a glimpse of the beauty and inspiration that this incredible place has to offer. In future videos, I plan to explore more of the sites we visited on our way to and back from Arizona. I have many ideas brewing, and I'm eager to be back here sharing them with all of you. And as always, I want to encourage you to share your thoughts with me. Please take a moment to ask me any questions you may have, or just say hello in the section below. I love to hear from you. Your beautiful comments are a big part of what makes this community so special. I also want to remind everyone that creativity is within all of us. It just needs a spark to ignite for some of us. If you felt inspired to pick up a brush, try a new technique, or simply explore your artistic side, that's a step towards discovering a part of yourself. Please don't be afraid to make that first move, whether it's painting, drawing, or any form of expression that feels right to you. And to those who might be facing difficult times, health challenges, personal struggles, or simply feeling lost, I want you to know that you are not alone. Your strength and resilience are inspiring, and there's always hope, no matter what you are going through. Art for me has been a source of comfort and healing, and I hope it can be the same for you. As we close this chapter, I thank you all for your support, understanding, and encouragement. Your presence here means everything, and I can't wait to share my art, stories, and heart with you again in the days ahead. Please remember, life is full of ups and downs, but in every moment there is beauty waiting to be found. Thank you again, and until next time, let creativity be your guiding light. Let's go inside.